My guest today is challenging you to think about your world differently. Rob Cross is a life coach from Sugar Land, Texas, and his latest book is called Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World. Hello, Rob.
Hey, Toby. I'm doing great, girl. What's going on?
I knew you were going to have a great accent.
Well, wait a second. I thought that any deviation from me is an accent.
Well, that's what people think, right? Thanks for joining us all the way from the Lone Star State. I want to jump right into this, Rob, because you say the key to happiness is simply the ability to think about things differently. It sounds so simple. Explain it.
Well, yes, there's lots of keys to happiness for sure, but honestly, I truly do believe it all whittles down to your initial thoughts. We try so hard in life to get what we want. You know, we have our ambitions, we have our efforts, and all the efforts that we put forth, they're always sabotaged by our thoughts. That was my life, half of my life, trying to go right, and I ended up going left. Wanting to start that new business, but I just don't. Wanting to learn that new talent, but I just don't. You know, it's my thoughts that keep dragging me back. And my passion is for each of your listeners to know that you are far more capable than you think you are. And what your dreams are, don't let your dreams die, because it's your thinking that's standing in your way. And our teachers never taught us to think about what we think about. That's what my work is all about, is
I love it.
Instructing and encouraging people to think about what you think about.
This is why you stood out to me. It just makes sense. Rob Cross is an author and life coach. He's also a speaker, and his latest book, Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World, is available now. I felt like this was a timely conversation, Rob, because so many people are experiencing struggle financially, emotionally. And I think when things start to go wrong in our lives, a lot of people look outward and try to find something to blame.
Oh, boy, you're exactly right. That's a good point. If you can hear what I'm fixing to say, folks, this is going to change your life. Your external environment is a reflection of your internal thoughts.
Say it again.
Your external environment is but a reflection of your internal thoughts. And another way of saying it, I think that a lot of us think that we're a product of our environment, and that sets us up as a victim. Victims have very little power. You're not a product of your environment. Your environment is actually a product of you. You're a product of your thoughts.
Right.
I mean, 100% product of your thoughts. Say your friend doesn't meet you for lunch. Well, what do you make that initially mean? Does it mean, are you worried, or does it mean, I'm angry? Our initial response to everything that happens in our life, a track that takes us down the road to our destiny. So your thoughts literally become matter, from thought to behavior to life experience.
Oh, it's just such a powerful concept. Rob Cross is a life coach, speaker, and author, and his latest book, Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World, definitely getting a lot of buzz. And I think it's because, like you say, it just brings it down to the root. Any issue, it's your mind, it's your perception. And Rob, you say there are 36 widely held assumptions that prevent people from having the lives they deserve. Hang on, I want to delve into that when Rock and Talk with Toby continues. Rock and Talk with Toby. Life coach Rob Cross is my guest today, all the way from Sugar Land, Texas. How's the weather down there today, Rob?
Oh, my goodness. I don't mean to brag, but it's around 72. But I tell you what, in a couple of months, you're going to be bragging because we're going to be sweating.
You're going to be too hot. I reached out to you because I have your book on Audible, and I like how you just take away all the fluff. It's called Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World, and it just takes away that notion, as we touched on a little earlier, that anybody else is responsible for how you view life. I mean, obviously, people can do things to us, right? But ultimately, how we respond is 100% up to us. And you talk about these 36 widely held assumptions. How did you come up with that number, Rob?
I kept writing and writing and writing.
That's just where it ended.
And it's all what I relate to. It's like, oh my gosh, all these ways that I've been pushing away the very things that I want. And my wife would say, you know, you need to write a book. And I can't write a book. I'm not a writer. English, I hated English class. Oh my goodness.
If your teacher knew that you were doing this now, you were a writer and a speaker, would your elementary school teacher be shocked?
Oh no, they wouldn't believe it. Because I mean, my best friend in college was Cliff. You might remember Cliff. What was his name? Oh, Cliff Notes. That was his name.
Like, no, I don't know. Yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
I didn't go anywhere without Cliff Notes. But here's the deal, is that, Toby, I recognized later on in life that I had been telling myself a story all my life, and I realized so many people have also. One of the stories I told myself is, I'm not a writer. Isn't that interesting that we buy into a little story from a childhood because no one in my family's a writer. No, well, my books are going crazy, and I'm so humbled by it. That's when I realized that my life is a play. I'm the main actor, and I wrote the script. And I wrote the script a long time ago, and so I can rewrite the script, and that was such a breakthrough for me. And my book is it's darn common sense is all it is. There's nothing fancy smart about me. I'm just a guy with 2 eyes, 2 ears, and common sense.
Rob Cross is an author and speaker. He's also written a book called Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World. A book packed with, as you say, Rob, just common sense.
Yeah, it's packed with jewels and gems. I've just got so many of them, and I said, I got to pass these along. And that's what I'm doing, and I'm just having such a joy doing it because I see people, they just become alive because they recognize that each of us have been pushing away, literally pushing away the things we want by how we think. 70% of our thoughts are negative. Are you kidding me? And most of them are unconscious, and 90% of them are repetitive. And when you can awaken enough to stand outside yourself enough to recognize, wow, look at me. I've been thinking all my life that I'm from a lower middle class family and I'm not going to do any better than that. Oh, yes, I can. I just told myself a story. I'm going to flip that story. I'm going to change it. And by golly, I can. So many of us, by default, live our lives according to the thought that we've had since we were a little kid. And, boy, to awaken to that and go, holy guacamole, I've been living as an adult by rules set up by a kid.
Yeah.
And, man, you talk about a breakthrough.
Right, and it's never too late to have that awakening. Now, I want to go back to these 36 assumptions. These are basically the chapters in your book, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so we're going to pick a few and have you give us the Cliff Notes version on them, things we can kind of put into practice right away. You game for that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so stick around because you're definitely going to want to hear about number 26. Living your best life, taking the hand you're dealt and working it to your best advantage. And his latest book is called Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World. Rob, you've identified 36 assumptions that people tend to hold on to. And chapter by chapter, you are challenging us to think differently. So let me throw some of these at you, okay?
Okay.
Number 4, setbacks are set-ups, wearing funny hats. Explain, please.
That's a good one. That's a good one. You know, I've started 4 businesses in my life from scratch, and they were successful. My last business crashed, and I didn't know why. It wasn't doing anything different. And by that time, I had learned quite a bit about this stuff. And, boy, I tell you, it threw me off my horse. I mean, my business was gone. And I told Franca, my wife, I said, wow, you know, I really want to panic. I mean, that's what you kind of want to do, right? That's what we do. And I thought to myself, man, we got to cut back. We've got to put the brakes on. Well, you know what? By golly, I recognize no. This is setting me up for something better. Now, is it or was it or is it true? Is it false? It doesn't matter. If you hold your setback as a setback, you will be a victim to that setback. It's all what you make it mean. And this is the most powerful thing that you're going to do in your life is when you recognize what you could call a setback, which would make you start shrinking and contracting and disengaging. Where's that going to get you? Well, that and a $5 bill will get you a $5 cup of coffee. That's about it.
Yeah.
But if you hold it as a setup, then your antennas up, your eyes and ears are open, you're looking for something bigger and better, and I claim to that. And there's a reason why I was pushed out of that nest and that business. So I'm looking, I'm perched, and I'm wide open. Well, that's what brought me to doing the work I'm doing now, and I would have never done it if I was still in my old business. This is such a powerful thing. I hope that all of you can get, no matter how small or big you think a setback is, flip it. Flip your thinking.
Flip your thinking to ignite your world. Rob Cross is joining us from Texas this morning. He's a speaker, an author, and a life coach. I'm picking out some of his 36 widely held myths that we live by, that we need to rethink. What about number 12? Your ugly side is your attractive side.
I love that one.
Yeah, me too.
Toby, I'm going to pick on you on this one.
Geez, what?
Your listeners, there's nothing they would love more than to hear what Toby had for breakfast or what Toby's favorite hobbies are or what you love to eat. You know why? Because that's your humanness. And we tend to not put our humanness on display. We think that our polished side is our best side. But no, We can all relate to this. Yeah, that's why there's so many tabloids at the checkout stand of the store, right? Because we want to see the backstage stuff,
Yes.
the juicy stuff. We want to know people and their humanness. So my encouragement to your listeners is this: have the courage to put your humanness on display. And what you're going to find is the world is going to respond to you with love. And those that don't, doesn't matter. Those are not the ones you need anyway.
Exactly.
But your humanness, I have a saying, you will impress me with your strength, but you'll win me over with your humanness. We're attracted to real, like flies on a cow patty. That's down here in Texas. You may not know what that is.
I'm going to start using these.
I had the courage to open your kimono, and that's
Is that another Texas saying?
if you're in a relationship and you want intimacy, hey, forget the vacation, forget the roses. Open your kimono. I mean, think of the word intimacy as into me see.
Say that again.
Intimacy is into me see.
Yes.
You all know this.
But people need to hear it. They need to have someone say it to them in a way that they understand.
That's what we're here for, to encourage each other. Just pass on what we're learning.
Okay, we are getting to how to change your husband. That's what we're working towards. That's still to come as Rock and Talk with Toby. And life coach Rob Cross continues after this.
Flip your marriage. It's a great one. It's going to be powerful.
Okay.
Back to common sense. You know, you change a person by accepting them for exactly who they are.
I knew you were going to say that.
Everybody's going, what? Wait a second. I've been snookered. He gave me the hook. No, but seriously, whatever you resist seems to expand and get bigger and uglier, right?
Persist,
we all know that.
Yes.
And in relationships to marriage, and I've learned this the hard way. All my stuff I've learned the hard way. I've done relationships wrong, and I tell you, I just could not love my wife more. And it's just it's an amazing relationship because we've learned some secrets.
Okay, well, spill. We're talking to Rob Cross, life coach, speaker, author. His new book, Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World, gives us lots of common sense tips on how to improve ourselves and our relationships. So, how do we improve our husband, Rob?
My chapter details these things, but if you want to change anyone, you got to get on their side of the fence.
Right.
Not on your side of the fence.
They're not behind your eyes. Yeah.
We never seem to be able to bring about change in anybody or anything that's sustainable and lasting if we are resisting them. If you're coming from love and acceptance of your partner, you can change anything. You can do anything. And I go into much greater detail in the chapter.
Sure. We're just getting a taste here. It's a tease.
Yeah. 100% of the time when you are upset at your partner because they are not doing or saying what you think they should do or say. They're not fitting into your plan. Doesn't that sound a little haughty?
It does. We need to flip that, don't we? Yeah.
We need to do a little flipping, sister.
Rob Cross is a life coach and author, and he's giving us some tips on how to improve your life. Just make every day a little better, how to improve your relationship. So how about number 30, forgive and free yourself?
Oh, man. Forgiving is so funny. We tend to hold back on forgiving because we think it's a weapon. Oh, he doesn't deserve my forgiveness. Look what he did. Oh, look what she said. I will not forgive her. No, she does not deserve it. It's not a weapon. And while you're at home nursing your grudge, your grudgee is out somewhere dancing. They don't care. It's like you taking the poison pill expecting them to die. You've heard that.
Yeah.
It's like, see forgiveness as grace paid forward. And you're thinking, oh, no, I got this grudge and it's not affecting me. Yes, it is. If you want to email me or call me, and I'll tell you for free how it is affecting you. I'll tell you how it's holding you back. It is. It's toxic. It's toxic inside, and there are literally a changing chemistry going on inside you because of that grudge. You got to let it go. You were not designed to hold a grudge. That's not how you were designed. You were designed to flow. So I love you guys when I tell you, you got to let go.
Very good advice. We'll have more with Rob, and we'll get into why selfish people make better lovers. See how I'm lightening things up there? I'm lightening it up. How's that for a tease? Back with more. What is, in a nutshell, Rob, flipology?
Oh, flipology. Well, it's a science. It's a science of flipping your mind. It's when someone proclaims, holy guacamole, you mean life is not going to work out my way? That's the scientific term.
Yes.
And the whole basis of flipology is this. We believe that our thoughts are relatively benign and they're relatively passive. They're just thoughts. Not true. Your thoughts are a force. All of your thoughts are a force. And our fifth grade teacher, our 10th grade teacher didn't teach us to think about our thoughts. Yet it's what you think about that literally sets into motion everything you have present in your life. Everything started with a thought.
Flipology. Rob Cross is the author of Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World. He's a life coach, he's an author, he's a speaker, and his new book delves into 36 areas, 36 widely held beliefs that we really need to shed in order to really live. And I want to know what you were thinking when you wrote chapter 32. Selfish people make better lovers.
Doggy, it took me a lifetime to learn that one. Lifetime. I kept noticing how they would tell you on the flight when they'd give the little spill about in case of emergency.
Put your own oxygen mask on first, yeah.
If you come into a relationship, and I tell you, this is the best advice I can give anybody, and this is in my upcoming book, Flip Your Marriage. If you cannot enter marriage or any relationship to be happy. You can't.
I know what you're saying, but it sounds funny.
I know.
I don't want to get married to be happy.
Right. Well, it's funny because we all tend to enter into relationships to get something, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be something we're not, to get something we don't have. You've got to fall in love with yourself first. If I were to give my great-great-grandchildren one piece of advice, if they were sitting at my deathbed, I would tell them, love yourself. When you love yourself, all of life comes together. And here's why. If I enter my relationship with my wife and I'm not real sure about myself and I don't really have all my stuff, she's going to make me happy. She's going to give me what I need. She's going to love me, and that's what I need. I need to be loved, I need to feel loved. What if she doesn't? What if there's a day or a weekend where you're not getting it from her? Then you react. Its expectations are always premeditated resentments.
That's deep. Expectations are always premeditated resentments.
Always. When I love me, I'm free to love her for who she is, not for what she can do for me. And I'm going to say that again. When I love myself, I'm free to love you for who you are rather than for what you can do for me. So selfish people, selfish is kind of a funny word, but self-loving people make much better lovers. Guarantee? I give you Roberto's guarantee on that.
Well, I'm glad I asked that one. That is a great one to finish on. You have used humor to get across some really great messages. You'll see it when you believe it. There's that famous Wayne Dyer quote. What you have to have, you'll never have.
Ooh, that's good.
Right? So many great analogies in Rob's book, Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World. Okay, Rob Cross, his latest book is called Flip Your Thinking to Ignite Your World. Where can we find it, Rob?
Amazon. You can also go to, you can go to robflips.com. That's my website. That'll give you all sorts of information about. I'm on my third book now, and you can look for that one. Got a podcast, Flip Your Thinking, coming out later this month.
Oh, Rob, thank you so much for spending time with us today, and we'll look forward to chatting with you again when your next book comes out.
You're a joy. Keep up the great work, and God bless each one of you fine Canadian folks.
Thank you so much, Rob. Take care.
Okay.
Back with more after this.